Okay, I got you guys together here tonight because I want to talk to you a little bit about Frank Woolsey and the Fut-Ga lessons. Now, I know some of you might have heard this story, some of you haven't, but let's just make it official. Everybody will have heard it. Back in the day, Frank Woolsey had 2 studios. Okay, now, first of all, he had only one, and then he opened up the second studio in Huntington Beach. He had a man named Ron out there teaching it, and Ron was really, really good. So what happened was, you know, nothing was ever said about you can't go out there, but it's kind of like we knew that we weren't supposed to go out there. We didn't know why, but, you know, it's just like, it's kind of unwritten law that, you know, don't go out to Huntington Beach if you study in Downey. So me and my friend Ron Bradford, of course, being young, we decided to go out to Huntington Beach and see what was going on out there. Well, Ron was teaching these lessons that were fantastic. I mean, they were just really great lessons. Now, to give you kind of an idea, we were on probably lesson, I don't know, in the middle of Toilet Hill somewhere. Well, his students were basically starting Fut-Ga, but they had all these other lessons that we didn't have. And we asked him what it was. He said they're called Fut-Ga lessons, right? So what we would do, they were so good that me and Ron would go out there and work out, and we would steal as many of them as we could get. Like we would go in there, and when I'm working out with somebody, if I saw the guy doing something that I liked, I'd go, wow, that was great. What was that? Of course, he'd be happy to show it to you. And so at the end of the day, you know, or the night actually, we would have maybe 10 of these things. So our deal was this. The idea was to get as many of these as we could get, and then as soon as we left the school, we would go out to the car and write them all down, right? Because we had just learned them maybe one time, did them one time each. And so they were just great lessons. So we did this for week after week after week, and we were out there getting like 10 lessons. Every Tuesday night, me and Ron would go out there and steal like 8 to 10 of these Fut-Ga lessons. And of course, we went, don't ever do these in front of Frank, right? And one day we slipped, and we did one of them in front of Frank, and he comes right out there. What the hell was that? Where did you get that lesson right there? And of course, we're cringing. We're going, he's going to kick me in the groin, he's going to punch me, whatever he's going to do. So we said, well, Frank, you know, we just went out and got him from Ron out in Huntington Beach. Don't you ever go out there again. Right, so somebody's getting a phone call. That's okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so anyway, he says, don't ever go out there again. So, of course, we didn't, because going out there again was the death sentence with Frank. But by that time, we had over 400 of these things. Yeah, and so what we did with them, of course, now in Frank's school, it was Ah-Soo, Fut-Ga, Toilet Hill, and Nampai. But now when I opened up my school, I added basically Ah-Soo, Fut-Ga, Toilet Hill, and then I added in 50 of the Tapas. We took all these Tapas and went through them, and I got 50 here, we'll teach these. And then I took another 50 that we do a Tapa second set, which still left us, you know, a lot of these things. And whether you guys know it or not, you're actually getting these things in your Greenbelt techniques. If you see a Greenbelt technique that I teach, you go, wow, that's really great, it's probably one of those Fut-Ga lessons. So as far as Fut-Ga goes, now, here's what's happening. Me and Lori have been working on the Fut-Ga book, and Mr. Holler here, Scott. Scott, you know, he's going to be in all my books. Well, anyway, we've got these. Now, we're only about 7 lessons out of having a Fut-Ga book finished. So we're hoping in about 2 weeks the Fut-Ga book will be available for sale, right? As far as Fut-Ga, what is Fut-Ga? You know, the Fut-Ga is basically, they combine Ah-Soo lessons, and which is punching, and they combine Fut-Ga lessons, which are attacks, hand and feet, and they combine the Toilet Hill, which has got leverages also. So basically, Fut-Ga is a combination of everything that you've learned so far. But the thing about Fut-Gas is, you know, they're real fancy. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have seen them. Some of them have used them in real combat. Even people that don't like them. But yeah, that's funny, isn't it? He doesn't like the lessons, but the first fight he gets in, he uses the Fut-Ga lesson. And that's because, you know, the Fut-Ga lessons are real fancy. They're gorgeous lessons, but they will kick your ass. I mean, they will. They'll kick it real fancy. Boy, we're real popular tonight with those phone calls. Okay. So anyway, that's basically what Fut-Ga is. Okay, it's a combination of everything that you've got so far. Really fancy lessons, but they will hurt you really bad. Okay, and there's one other thing that I want to say before we stop this, and that's I want to thank everybody for going on my website. That's sansu.com. And the reason is, me and Lori, we have the internal part of that. We were looking to see, you know, basically how many hits we got, and in August we had 175,000 hits. Right, I know, it just blew us away. We couldn't believe how many hits we got, but in August we really did, that's 175,000 hits. So I want to thank everybody out there that's going on my website and looking at these techniques. I hope that you enjoy them. Watch for our Fut-Ga book. It's going to come out in a couple of weeks. Hope everybody gets a copy. Okay, thanks, guys. Are there any questions that you guys have on Fut-Gas or Frank or... Okay, you got one.
When do you start getting the Fut-Gas?
Fut-Ga, say that again?
When do you start getting the Fut-Gas?
I was a Greenbelt when we started going out to Ron's out in Huntington Beach. And, you know, Ron was a fantastic teacher. He was a big guy. He's one of those guys that has perfect hair and everything's perfect about him. It doesn't matter. He could be all sweaty. This looks absolutely perfect. But he's... If somebody asked me, okay, I'm going to say his name. I wasn't going to do this. His name was Ron Van Browning, okay? But if somebody asked me, who do you think is the best Kung Fu Sansu guy there is right now today, it would be Ron Van Browning. This guy was big, good-looking guy, strong. You know, everybody knows how fast I am. Ron was way faster than me. I've never seen a guy that big move that fast in my life, and he was real powerful. You know, just if Ron said he was going to hurt me, he'd have to catch me. And he's older than I am, so I doubt if he could catch me. Okay, but he's great. Ron's fantastic, and it was lovely learning from him. Ron, if you're watching this, thank you very much. Anybody else got any questions? Yes.
If Fut-Ga is a combination of the three previous sections of the art that you learned, why didn't Frank incorporate that into the art? It seems like it's the next stepping stone.
Good question. You know, and I think Frank knew some of these, but I don't know if he did or not. What Frank's idea was just to have a technique that would teach you how to fight in 3 years, right? And that basically what he had was it. Ah-Soo, Fut-Ga, and Num Pai would do that. And I'm just speculating on this. Nobody ever said that that's what it is, but from my taking these Fut-Ga lessons apart, that's what it appears to be. It's got great punching. You know, there are attacks. It does seem to have hand and foot movement, and it's got leverage, and they're all combined. So this is something that I have come up with on myself. I do believe that it's kind of a combination of those three. And as to why Frank didn't do something, I don't know. Him and Jimmy came up with the 3-year plan, and it seems to work really well. Worked great for everybody that studied there. Other questions?
If Frank didn't know him, you said maybe he might not have known. Where did Ron get him?
Had to get him from Jimmy, right? That's why I think Frank probably knew him too. But Frank's goal was he wanted everything, all the studios, and he wanted with 5 schools, he wanted all 5 schools to have exactly the same thing taught in them, right? And so he couldn't have Ron out here teaching other stuff, and so he basically got rid of Ron and put another guy in there. But his goal was to have all 5 schools where it didn't matter which one you went to, you would get exactly the same training there. And that didn't incorporate the Fut-Ga training. And again, I don't know if Frank knew him or not. I'm going to say he did. I mean, he probably did. And Ron, I think, was sneaking out to Jimmy's. When I was sneaking out to Ron's, he was probably sneaking out to Jimmy's. Okay? All right, so you know, I hope there's no more questions. There's one more.
One more. So most of the lessons that we are getting on the Thursday night videos, are they Fut-Gas? Are we now getting Fut-Gas, or some of them?
You know, some of them are. And here's the problem with that is that I had about 400 of them, and now a lot of them are integrated into the other techniques that I learned from Jimmy. And as much as I hate to admit this, sometimes I don't know if they're Fut-Gas or not. They're either techniques I got from Jimmy's or they're Fut-Gas I got. They all came from Jimmy's, right? And so I can't answer that question. You know, yeah, you're going to get a lot of Fut-Gas in techniques, even yellow belt techniques, and green belt techniques, brown belt techniques, and these techniques here. Some of them probably are Fut-Gas because I kind of mixed. I kept 100 for myself so that I would always have 100 more lessons than all you guys. Right, so that way there's always that doubt. What are those other 100, right? So I'm stingy. I kept the 100 for myself, and I incorporated the other 300 in a training.
But the Fut-Ga book is coming out soon, so that'll have
the Fut-Ga book is coming out. It's only going to have those 50 Fut-Gas on there. Okay. The 50 that you're learning right now. Right, and then we have Fut-Ga second set, which it's going to be a while before we come out with that one. Then we're going to do the Num Pai book next. Okay, thanks guys.